All right, let's get into one of the wildest stories from the ancient world. It's all about power, prophecy, and a plan that goes completely, spectacularly sideways. This is the tale of the prophet who was hired for one job, to curse, but, well, he just couldn't do it.
So just imagine for a second, you've hired the absolute best person in their field for a very specific, super high-stakes job. You're paying them a fortune. But then, right at the critical moment, they do the exact opposite of what you hired them for. What do you do when your secret weapon turns right back on you? That's the exact situation we're diving into today.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with a king who is in a serious bind.
This king, his name is Balak, looks out and sees the entire nation of Israel setting up camp near his borders, and he is absolutely terrified. I mean, he sees their numbers, he's heard the stories about their power, and he really doesn't want to risk a head-on battle. So he cooks up a totally different kind of strategy. We're talking spiritual warfare. He sends for a famous prophet named Balaam to lay a divine curse on Israel, hoping he can weaken them from the inside out before a single sword is drawn.
And this sets up our two main characters who are on a total collision course. You've got King Balak on one side, and his goal is super simple: pay whatever it takes to get my enemies cursed. But then you have the prophet Balaam, who, despite being offered a massive payday, lives by one single, unbreakable rule. He can only speak the words that a higher power gives him. And right there, you can see the conflict brewing. It's a clash between a king's orders and a divine command.
So, Balak brings Balaam up to a high place, a spot overlooking the entire Israelite camp. And he's basically rubbing his hands together, ready for the show. He's expecting fire and brimstone. But what he gets instead? Well, it's something nobody could have seen coming.
Balaam starts to speak, and you can tell something's different. But listen to how he prefaces this. He's not just giving his opinion. He's making it crystal clear that he's a messenger, someone whose eyes sees clearly, someone who hears directly from God. This is basically him saying, buckle up because what's coming next is the real deal.
And then the first words come out. Can you just picture the look on King Balak's face? He's paid a fortune for a devastating curse, and the very first thing his prophet says is a compliment. And not just any compliment, he's praising the beauty of the very people Balak wants wiped out. The whole plan is already going off the rails.
And he doesn't stop there. The language gets incredibly beautiful and poetic. Balaam starts comparing the Israelites to these lush, green, thriving gardens planted by God himself. This is the polar opposite of a curse. A curse is meant to wither and destroy. These words are all about life, growth, and divine protection. And then he drops the final line, the ultimate Uno reverse card. Balaam basically puts an invisible, divine shield around the entire nation of Israel. He declares that anyone who blesses them will also be blessed, and, here's the kicker for King Balak, anyone who curses them will get cursed themselves. The king's own weapon has just been aimed directly back at his own head.
As you can probably guess, King Balak is not a happy camper. His foolproof plan has been a total disaster, and now it's time for a very, very angry performance review.
And get this, it wasn't just a one-time thing. Balak tried to make this work 3 separate times. He dragged Balaam to 3 different mountains, hoping a change of scenery might change the outcome. And 3 times in a row, Balaam opened his mouth and blessed Israel instead. You can just feel the king's frustration boiling over. Finally, Balak just snaps. He's furious. You can hear the rage in his voice. I brought you here to curse my enemies, and all you've done is bless them 3 times. Get out of my sight! Go home! He fires him right there on the spot and tells him he's not getting paid a dime. But Balaam? He's totally unfazed. And his response really gets to the heart of the whole story. He just reminds the king, look, I told you from the start, even if you offered me a palace full of gold, I can't go against a command from the Lord. He's making it clear he's just a messenger for a power way, way bigger than any king.
But just as he's about to leave, fired, unpaid and all, Balaam tells the furious king that he has one last message. And this one isn't another blessing for Israel. Oh no, this is a prophecy about what Israel will eventually do to the king's own people.
This is the parting shot. The curses he was paid for all failed. The blessings have all been spoken. And now, completely free of charge, comes a chilling warning about the future.
And this is the one that goes down in history. A star will come out of Jacob,
A scepter will rise out of Israel. What he's seeing is a vision of a future king, a powerful ruler who will rise up from Israel and completely conquer his enemies, including Balak's kingdom. It's the ultimate confirmation that Israel's destiny is secure.
And his vision just keeps going. He looks beyond Balak's people and starts delivering this rapid-fire series of prophecies about all the other nations in the area. He predicts their futures, their rise, their fall. It's like he's seeing a huge sweep of history, all in this one incredible moment.
So after this unbelievable series of events, this dramatic showdown between a king and a prophet, how does it all wrap up?
You know, the ending is almost funny in how simple it is. The prophet just packs his bags and goes home, and the king goes his own way. His brilliant, supernatural strategy completely torched. All that planning, all that money, all that rage, it amounted to nothing. His plan wasn't defeated by an army, but by a few sentences that he had absolutely no control over.
And that really brings us full circle, back to our first question. What happens when your secret weapon turns on you? In this story, the answer shows us what real power looks like. Is it the king's wealth and authority? Or is it a prophetic word that comes from a higher power? It's a story all about the limits of human control when we're faced with forces much bigger than ourselves. And that is definitely something worth thinking about.